everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Sensorium Insight, your podcast about psychiatry, mental health, and everything in between. I am Syed Umair, a final year medical student at Khyber Medical College in Peshawar, Pakistan, and your host for this exciting journey through the fascinating world of psychiatry. I am incredibly passionate about mental health and the importance of breaking the stigma that still surrounds it in many parts of the world. Over the course of this podcast, we'll be diving deep into topics like mental illnesses, mental well-being, psychiatric treatments, and much more. But before we get into all that, I would like to take this first episode to share my personal journey into psychiatry, why I am so passionate about it, and what we hope to achieve with this podcast. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's get started. My journey into psychiatry is a bit unconventional, and it actually began with a very different plan in mind. Originally, I wanted to pursue industrial and organizational psychology in Canada. However, my mother had other plans. She wanted me to become a doctor and study medicine in Pakistan. Honestly, I didn't hesitate much. I've always had a passion for social work, and having lived most of my life abroad, I saw many of the modern challenges people face. But I also felt like I never truly understood the problems in underdeveloped countries. So I agreed to study in Pakistan, wanting to experience these issues firsthand and contribute in a more meaningful way to society here. Now, since I loved psychology, I naturally assumed I would love psychiatry as well. But psychiatry is a heavily stigmatized field, especially in our culture. My family and friends discouraged me. They told me I would go crazy myself if I spent all day talking to quote unquote crazy patients. So I kind of got discouraged, so I decided to explore other fields first. I thought, why not see if something else in medicine would resonate with me? Let me tell you, nothing did. I didn't enjoy any other specialty, and it left me feeling disappointed and uncertain. Then, by chance, I found out that one of my distant friend's mother was a psychiatrist. I reached out to her and asked if I could shadow her in her practice, just to get some exposure to the field. She agreed, and that's when everything changed. The first day I stepped into her clinic, I didn't want to leave. I was so fascinated by the cases I was seeing. They were so unique, so complex, and every story was different. I was absolutely hooked. The more I learned, the more mysterious the field became. It felt like I was scratching the surface of something vast and unknown. From that day, I knew I wanted to become a psychiatrist. I started spending time regularly in the psychiatry ward, observing, learning, and getting involved. Eventually, with the help of my peers and professors, I founded the Psychiatry Interest Group at Khyber Medical College, and now here I am, ready to share my passion for psychiatry and mental health with all of you. Now, you might be wondering, why psychiatry? Why not cardiology or surgery or something that's more commonly pursued? For me, it is the complexity of the human mind. Our minds have an infinite number of dimensions, and now imagine trying to understand all those dimensions, but of another human being, using only your own mind to comprehend it. That is what makes psychiatry so fascinating. It's a never-ending puzzle, a field that challenges you to think in ways no other specialty does. As Carl Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." And in psychiatry, we are constantly awakening, exploring the depths of human psyche and helping others do the same. In Pakistan, and especially in Peshawar, mental health is often a taboo subject. It is misunderstood and surrounded by stigma. I have met patients who suffered in silence for years because they were afraid to seek help. I realized that psychiatry is not just about treating mental illness, it is about advocacy, empathy, and giving people a voice when they feel unheard. As president of the Psychiatry Interest Group at Khyber Medical College and Khyber Teaching Hospital, I've had the opportunity to meet brilliant minds in the field of psychiatry, engage in meaningful discussions, and work on projects that promote mental health awareness, and that, my friends, is why I love this field. Now, let's talk a little about the role psychiatry plays in our society. In a country like Pakistan, where mental health issues are often brushed aside or considered personal problems, the importance of psychiatrists is greater than ever. Did you know that in Pakistan, the ratio of psychiatrists to patients is alarmingly low? According to some estimates, there is only one psychiatrist for every 100,000 people. But what's even more concerning is the availability of child psychiatrists. There are only around 6 child psychiatrists in the entire country. Let me repeat that. Only child psychiatrists. That's 6 psychiatrists for over 80 million children. These statistics are a stark reminder of how underserved our communities are when it comes to mental health, especially for the younger population who often go without proper care during critical stages of their development. This makes it even more important to raise awareness about mental health, encouraging people to seek help and promote mental well being in our communities. And that is exactly what we will be doing in this podcast. We will be shedding light on important topics like depression, anxiety, trauma, schizophrenia, bipolar, and so much more. We will be discussing real stories, evidence based treatments, and ways to support our loved ones and ourselves. So, what can you expect from future episodes of Sensorium Insight? We'll be diving into a wide range of topics, starting with the basics of mental health. Some of the upcoming episodes include discussions about common mental illnesses like depression and anxiety, the stigma around mental health in Pakistan, how to support someone who is struggling with their mental health. We'll also try to delve into child mental health and parenting techniques, the role of therapy and medication in mental illnesses, and we'll also be interviewing mental health professionals to get their expert opinions and advice. But most importantly, this podcast is for you. I want to hear from you. If you have questions, topics you would like to hear about, or stories you want to share, please reach out. You can follow the podcast on social media on my Instagram at Sensorium Insight and DM me. Feel free. I'm a medical student and I would love to hear from you guys. So, I'll wrap it up for this episode of Sensorium Insight. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope my story gives you a glimpse of what psychiatry means to me and why I am so passionate about mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with anyone who you think could benefit from our discussions. Mental health matters to all of us, and together we can make a difference. Once again, I'm Psychiatry, and this is Sensorium Insight, where we break the stigma, raise awareness, and explore the depths of the mind. See you next time. Until then, take care of yourselves and remember, mental health is just as important as physical health.